My name is Keo Kosho, and we're gonna open up another pair of shoes today. This is the Nike Air Fear of God Moccasins in Particle Beige. This is actually my first pair of Nike Fear of God shoes. This box is kind of this peach color, which is the Nike Air Fear of God box. It says Nike on the top in this spot lamination. And then it doesn't really say anything else anywhere on the box except, oh, there it is. So there's a little bit of spot lamination here on either long side of the box, and it says Air Fear of God. And then let's read the sizing label. This says Nike Air Fear of God Mock, which is short for moccasin, in the Particle Beige / Black Sail colorway. Men's 9.5, which is my size. And let's open it up. Little tab comes up, and this is a drawer style box. This particular pair I chose to buy for myself. I picked this up at Commonwealth. I actually lost out on the raffle, on the Cop Date raffle that they have, but I decided to pop in the next morning and see if maybe someone didn't pick up their pair, and lo and behold, they actually had this pair and the black pair for me to pick up. But I opted to go with this particular colorway, and I'll tell you more about why a little bit later. We open it up, and here we have the Fear of God moccasin in Particle Beige. So I really like this shoe. The reason why is probably because as a fan of Fear of God and a fan of Jerry Lorenzo, I think that this shoe is the most Fear of God style than all the other Nike Air collaborations. And let's kind of dive into all the different parts of the shoe before we kind of talk about why I think that. As you can see, the shoe is this, they call it Particle Beige colorway, and it's made up of this mesh material. It's like a mesh kind of ripstop, I guess, material. So as you can see on the shoe, there is very minimal branding for Nike. There is a swoosh over here in black on this midfoot strap. On the little magnetic button that closes the shoe, it has a little swoosh there. And then on the outsole, it actually has another swoosh down there. Now let's talk a bit about this outsole. This is the Fear of God outsole. You know, some version of it is used on all of the Fear of Gods, on the Fear of God 1, on the Fear of God Raid, not on the Skylons, but those aren't really Air Fear of Gods. It's a double stack air unit over here using Zoom Air, I believe. And on the midsole, it says Air 180. This visible air unit is a tribute to the Nike Air 180. And then it says Fear of God SN 8329166, which after some research I found out is the serial number of Jerry Lorenzo's grandfather in the war when he was with the US military. The sole has this different texture. This is the same outsole that they used on the Fear of God Raid, but it's different from the concentric circle pattern that's used on the Fear of God 1. Now the Fear of God 1 and the Fear of God 1 shoot around are supposed to be kind of lifestyle sneakers that you can wear to play basketball. So we see some basketball players like PJ Tucker actually rock them on the court. It just goes to show that this shoe, that shoe can be used for playing basketball, and that tracksuit pattern becomes important in those cases. However, as a fully lifestyle shoe, you don't need that pattern, and instead you have this very relaxed kind of reverse tight waffle pattern. Now the outsole goes into the midsole, so it's kind of, I think they might call this cup sole, I'm not sure. And then you have full-length Zoom that's inside, making it very comfortable. Very interesting, on the back, you have this lace fastener to kind of try and lock down the shoe. That said, as a moccasin, it's not really supposed to have large amounts of lockdown. It's supposed to be like a light walk-around shoe. And then on the heel, it says Nike Air, which is unusual because most shoes, the Fear of God shoes that are Fear of God the company makes on their own, and the collaborations with Nike, this section usually says Fear of God. However, I think that they might have had it say Nike Air just because the branding on this shoe is so minimal. On the insole, it also says Air Fear of God. And when you look into the shoe, you really get an idea of just how light the materials are on this shoe. There's some padding here around the midfoot area. I think that this is where the lace travels through. And then under the strap, you see this seam that runs from the toe all the way to where the ankles are, and these concentric stitches, which is very reminiscent of the Fear of God 1. My opinion is that this is a very comfortable shoe. It's very light, and that double stack air unit, while it doesn't necessarily feel double the comfort, it is very comfortable and it is a very light shoe. I think that if you compare it to the Air Fear of God 1, kind of the flagship shoe in this line, this is a little bit easier to pair with different clothes, with different pants and different shorts. You could actually wear this with shorts. I am not super confident about wearing the Air Fear of God 1 with shorts unless you're playing basketball. This one, I think it would do nicely. As for comfort, they are a pair of Nike Airs, so you do get the Fear of God aesthetic without having to have one of those, relatively uncomfortable, Italian, no technology sneakers, designer sneakers. So you do have, it is a designer sneaker that is comfortable, and I think that that is something special on its own. Yeah, I really like this shoe because I feel like this is the one that is closest to previous shoes done by Jerry Lorenzo and Fear of God. And if you go to the Fear of God website, you see that they very often have moccasins. Usually they have this solid sole but no air unit, obviously. And this is very interesting because we finally get a Fear of God shoe that is in that style, but we can actually afford to buy because Fear of God is quite a pricey brand. In fact, I know people who went out and bought these shoes or went out and bought the Fear of God Skylons just so that they could have an item that says Fear of God on it. And no judgment, that's perfectly fine. However, for me, I really was waiting for a pair of shoes that kind of matched my style and my identity, but also I felt kind of carried the style and brand identity of Fear of God itself. Again, you might disagree with me and you can just tell me in the comments if you think so, but I really think that this pair of shoes, the Moccasin, is the Fear of God Nike that is closest to the other Fear of Gods. I don't know, I might be wrong. Do you feel like this is representative of the streetwear, American luxury brand that is Fear of God? Or do you feel like this is more Nike? As for sizing, I thought that this shoe fit pretty true to size. I'm pretty much a perfect size 9.5. I tried the size 9, they were too tight. I tried the size, they did not have a size 10, but I tried size 9.5 and I realized that it was perfect. I tried on this one and I tried on the black pair, but I decided to go with this one because I felt like it's a little bit more unusual. Yeah, all the other Fear of Gods come in other colors, but this is the only one that comes in Particle Beige. Alright, so what do you think of the Air Fear of God moccasins? Am I right? Are they the most Fear of God of the Nike Air collaborations? Am I crazy to like them? I think they're a highly underrated shoe. Do you think that they're overrated? A lot of shoe tubers, a lot of sneakerheads say that this thing is garbage, basura, some people say. I disagree with them. Are you happy like me that less people want it so it is easier to grab? What do you think of the color? Did I make a mistake getting the Particle Beige? Should I have gone with the black? Yeah, let me know your thoughts. This has been Keo Kosho, and thank you for joining us on Opening Act. Continue to subscribe and like our videos here on Adjima.com. And don't forget to check out our website to see the latest and our discussions on fashion and style and aesthetics and street art and graffiti. Peace.